Hello, hello. There's a few people here already. Welcome. Monday. Nadia's here. Hi. Mike was the first one here. Hi, Mike. We'll let a few of the others that I think are going to be coming join in. But thanks for joining me on the channel. I don't think this is anybody's first time here. Hey, Lois. If this is your first time here, the goal of the channel is to show you some cooking tips and some quick dinners. So if you're pressed for time or don't want to spend a lot of time in the kitchen, this is for you. So for this one, we are going to do a one pan. We're going to do another one pan dinner. So we're going to use the roasting pan today, and for this one is going to be a roast chicken. When the vegetables we're going to use potatoes. We've got some yellow potatoes, and we're going to use up some of the vegetables from the fridge. So we've got some Brussels sprouts to use up in there, and I've got a few carrots left over, so I'm going to chop those up just to put those in there. And we're going to do the chicken with apple, so that'll be something a little different, a little sweetness for the chicken. And we've got a couple of chicken breasts that we're gonna use for this dish. So it is a pretty simple one on request, I think, from Susan, who's here now. Hi, Susan. We're not going to use the Instant Pot tonight. We're going to use this one tray. So let's get started. If anybody does have any questions along the way, I'll do my best to explain what I'm doing when I'm cutting everything up and getting it all ready. But if you do have some questions, Pam's here. Hey, Pam. If you do have any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the comments, or if there's something you want to comment and talk amongst yourselves, if I'm not maybe saying anything, by all means, go to town on the chat. We'll get started. This one's a fairly straightforward one once it's in the oven, so I'll get everything prepared, and then we'll be able to answer your questions, okay, as we go. So I've got all the vegetables kind of ready to go here, except I've got some squash that I'm going to use, some butternut squash in the freezer. So we'll put that in later. Good thing with one pan dinners, number one, there's only one pan to clean, and number two, you can get some neat combinations of food. So with this one, we're doing the chicken with the apple, but we're also going to do potatoes. So with this one, I've got some yellow potatoes. These are from a local farm here. The thing to keep in mind with when you're doing a pan dinner like this is you want to kind of have the ingredients to have very similar cooking times. So if that means cutting up the potatoes, instead of just roasting the potatoes whole, it's going to mean cutting. These ones we're going to quarter, so they are a bit smaller. So they're going to cook kind of everything around the same time, as you know, fairly quickly. So we'll do the potatoes first. Now we do have to kind of time things because the Brussels sprouts aren't going to take as long. The potatoes on this one are going to be the longest, the potatoes and then the chicken. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start the potatoes for maybe about 10 minutes. And as the potatoes are going in the oven, I'll cut up the rest of the vegetables and get it ready. And then we'll put the chicken in and the rest of the stuff. So it's all on one pan. And then everything should, if we time everything correctly, everything should be done at the same time. Or pretty close to the same time. If we have to maybe take the chicken off if it's cooked, we can always do that. So I'm just going to zoom in on the chat so I can see the chat a little bit better. I think everybody can hear me, everybody can see me, so that's good. Potatoes. So with these first, I'm going to put in a little bit of olive oil. And toss them in some olive oil. And I've got some cracked pepper on top of the potatoes. Okay. And I am going to put, I think we're out of it actually. I would put normally a little bit of paprika in there, but we're actually out of paprika. So I've got some, this is like a salt-free barbecue chicken seasoning that I was going to use for the chicken. So I'm just going to put a bit of that on the potatoes. It won't hurt it. All right, and I do want to put a little bit of garlic in there as well. So just a couple of couple of cloves. Well, this is actually quite a big clove. So we'll put a clove. We're going to peel this. Because we're going to be roasting this for quite a while, like we don't want to chop the garlic too much. We can keep it fairly large. I like to just crush it and then just give it a quick chop and then in with the potato. So we're going to put that in the oven first, about 10 minutes. So what you want to do is kind of have it on one. We're just having it on one side of the pan for now, okay? So we're going to leave the space for the rest of the vegetables when they go in. I've got the oven. I have the oven preheated. Oven preheated up to 400. So how was everybody's weekend? Well, this is what everybody's having for dinner here. Ah. Oh, Rachel's here. Hey, Rachel, I think this is your first time seeing us live here. Thanks for joining us. Salad and boiled eggs. That's a good one. We had potato salad with boiled eggs the other night in the weekend. It's always a good one. So, vegetables. I'm going to do the Brussels sprouts first, and you can use the same bowl. So I'll get the Brussels sprouts ready, and how we want to do this. Just going to clear that off because I'm going to do it right back into this bowl. We're going to just want to peel them. These are the fresh ones. So peel off the first layer and then just cut in half. Yeah, I have a recipe on my channel, Lois, for Brussels sprouts with roasted Brussels sprouts with garlic and lemon. So if you want to check that one out after this, have a look at that one. It kind of goes through the steps, similar to this one, but just a little bit more ingredients. This one we're gonna keep all the vegetables fairly simple, just with cracked pepper. And I've got some. I do have some really. They're kind of like a dehydrated. I'm trying this stuff out, like a dehydrated onions, like chives. I'm gonna throw on the vegetables too. Does everybody like Brussels sprouts? People either I think love these or hate them. When people say they hate Brussels sprouts, it's probably because they're used to having frozen Brussels sprouts. And I know we did do a video on frozen food, but Brussels sprouts are one of the ones I don't think you want to buy frozen, because you can always seem to get them for the most part fresh, and they're way better fresh. Frozen Brussels sprouts are just not good. And if you have anybody that's coming over for dinner that doesn't like Brussels sprouts, buy fresh Brussels sprouts and roast them in the oven. They'll definitely change their mind. Roasted with some, the recipe that I did was there's some honey, there's some lemon. I mean, it's really good. It's going to change their mind with that. You could also too, is if you have bacon and wanted to use some bacon, you could chop up some bacon first and saute that off, and then put the Brussels sprouts in there and then roast them. I think you're pretty much guaranteed that people will like it. If they don't like Brussels sprouts, they'll like them that way. They're also good roasted with at the end is put a little bit of, we could even do this because we bought some today, is some grated Parmesan cheese. Is always good on top at the very end. Kind of melts a little bit on there. Yeah, there you go, Susan. Yeah, you got it. That's probably one of the best ways to do Brussels sprouts. We're doing quite a bit here. There's going to be some definitely leftovers, but these kind of have to be used up. So there's not enough to really do any less, you know, to use them again. So we want to use them all up. They last for a long time though in the fridge. So there we go. I think that's all of them. Yeah. And I'm going to do the carrots at the same time. This had a few left over that I want to use up. So again, in keeping with size-wise, right? We want to have all stuff similar cooking time. So we want to cut the carrots fairly small because obviously carrots are fairly hard, solid vegetable. So we're going to cut them pretty small as well. If you were roasting carrots by themselves, you could cut them a lot bigger. Sometimes if you can get the bunch carrots, those little carrots that are already in the bunch, to roast those, you really just have to cut them in half. So with these, we're just going to cut them on the bias a little bit. Like that, and we'll put those in there as well. So with this one, a little bit more olive oil, not too much, because it's all going to go in the pan. So we don't want to have too much oil in there because it's going to be just a drip. We don't want to be dripping too much oil. Pepper, and then give those a toss. And when we bought these the other day, there's some like onions, dehydrated onions to try. Red onion. We'll put that in there as well. So we're just gonna let this hold for a bit because the potatoes have only been in for, oh gosh, maybe 5 minutes. So we're gonna give the potatoes about 5 more minutes. Then we'll put this in. So while this is waiting, we'll just leave this on the side, and we'll do the apple now to put in there. So just going to take the seeds out. And then with the apple, I'm not going to mix it in with the Brussels sprouts and carrots because what I want to do with this one is kind of have it on the chicken, so the chicken can get a bit of flavor from the apple. And then I'm just going to chop these into like a nice sized chunk. And we'll put them in the oven soon enough, so these won't turn brown. If you were doing the vegetables ahead of time for the fridge, you'd still want to do the apple. You want to do the apple kind of at the last minute, so it doesn't get all brown on there. Okay, there we go. So chopped apple, ready for the chicken. Now the last thing we're going to cut up is the chicken, and we've got chicken breasts here. You could use chicken, chicken thigh, anything like that, whatever you want. Or if you were not wanting to have chicken, you could also. This would be good with some salmon as well. The only thing is when you're doing these sheet, you got to think about cooking times with all this stuff. So if you were doing salmon, you would obviously not put. You'd want to make sure all the potatoes and everything is almost finished, because the salmon's only going to take maybe 10 minutes in the oven, whereas chicken's going to take 15, 20 minutes, a bit longer. So you really want to be aware of cooking times with these kind of things. Yes, it is. Let's go back to the question. It is 4:20 today. That's right. It's kind of, isn't it the first 4:20 where it doesn't really matter? So we've cut up all the vegetables on the cutting board. So from now, I am going to do the chicken, and these are whole chicken breasts. But what I like to do is to help kind of cook a bit faster is to butterfly them open. So basically, what I do is turn them upside down there, and then we're just going to butterfly it. This is going to help them cook a bit more evenly when it's in the oven on top of the vegetables. But also, we're going to do is season them ahead of time too, so it kind of gets some more seasoning everywhere. So there's that. And then you want to do the chicken obviously last. And now that the cutting board's on raw chicken, we're going to make sure the cutting board gets washed and not, and we're not going to cut anything else. Okay. So there is that. Everybody's still washing their hands. It's very dry here. So for the chicken, we've got our spice. And I've got some chives for on top. There we go. And then we'll just leave. Actually, gonna put some pepper. So that's like a barbecue spice. Just put those back on the plate to wait, like so. We've been barbecuing a lot here as well, and I think now that the weather's finally warming up, we'll maybe do a barbecue. We'll do a barbecue dinner one of these days pretty soon, because it's really nice outside. So we'll figure that out. So there we go. Cutting board is finished, so we don't have to worry about that. Everything's cut up. We're just kind of waiting now. It's the waiting game. It was today. It was warm today. I think it was about 14, 15. It was really warm. We were sitting out on the patio today in the sun. It was actually too hot in the sun. Had to move into the shade. It's not quite the 28 degrees as it is by Susan's house, but it was still hot. Good question, Susan. That's you could add honey to the apples. That would be good to be roasting in there for sure. For sure. Yeah, good idea. Apple and honey chicken sounds really good. Maybe we'll do that. I've got some honey. Pam's watching. I think we'll use some of Pam's. I think it was your aunt's. I could be wrong. Family. It was her family has a farm in Saskatchewan near Saskatoon, I think, and they have some. She dropped off some from Etonia, Saskatchewan. I don't even know where that is in Saskatchewan, but there's some honey there. That we'll put some of the honey on the chicken. Good idea, Susan. Fahrenheit. Stephanie, I have no idea. Does anybody know what the conversion is? What was our temperature today in Calgary in Fahrenheit? I don't even know. -4? I don't know. I have no idea. I was watching someone else's. I've been all over. I don't know if anybody's watching from that isn't commenting that maybe I follow, but I was watching. I found this other channel on YouTube the other day, and he was cooking making pasta last night, and I was watching his live stream. So it's kind of neat to see how other people do certain things. He did a really good job, and he was from Texas, somewhere in Texas, and it was 90 degrees. So that's pretty hot. I know that, but I don't know what that converted to. So 60. Yeah, it's been windy. It's been windy here too, Stephanie. It's all the snow, everything's melted. So it's really dusty, all this, and they're going to do the street cleaning. Oh, Rachel, yeah. So the barbecue shaker. Good question though. We buy there's a salt-free one. It's just a mix called La Grill. It's just like it's like the barbecue chicken spice, but without the salt. And I was actually going to do a video. I'll maybe do it tomorrow. But what I'll do is I won't be live, but it will be I'm gonna do a video on like all our spices, because a lot of people do ask what the spices are that we use a lot of times. So I'll do a video on that. Okay, let's just check this, because I start yapping and then I forget. So I'm gonna give those a shake. Oh, they smell good. And let me just put a towel down so we don't burn the counter. And I'll let you take a look. So we put the vegetables on. So potatoes, they're not quite halfway done, but the carrots and the Brussels sprouts are going to take a while. Okay, we're going to do that. And I did say squash, didn't I? So I've got a little bit of squash left over. This is frozen. If this was fresh, you would want to put the squash probably in at the same, I would say at the same time as the potatoes. Now, what I want to do with the chicken, make some room for it. And I want to put the apples down. And then I'm going to put the chicken just on top of the apples. And then what this is going to do is when they start to cook, they're going to kind of steam. A little bit of olive oil. And then the apples are going to steam up with the juice and give it a bit of the flavor will kind of get mixed in there. So this is all going to go in the oven now. And the best part is now we're just waiting. So that's the best part. Everything's kind of going. It's just a matter of waiting until it's cooked. Good question, Sam. Oven is at 400. I might turn it up a little bit. I'm still getting used to. I'm going to turn it up to 425 because I'm still, you know what? I'm still getting used to the oven here. So I don't know if it's super accurate. Like 400 doesn't seem as hot as it should be. So up to 425. And now everything is basically done. We're just having to wait for everything to cook. And then at the end, just before the end, I'll put a little bit of honey on top of the chicken. So it kind of goes on there. So we have a little bit of sauce for on top of the chicken. It'll all melt. And then we'll mix all the vegetables together so they get all mixed in. And then we'll put it on a plate and we'll eat it. Oh, that sounds good, Susan. I'll do a video. You know what? I'll do a video on balsamic reduction. It's like you can. It's just reduced balsamic vinegar, but there's some neat little. I'll show you some. It's always good if you put if you cut an orange. If you have oranges, cut an orange in half and put the half of the orange and squeeze it and let it reduce, so you get kind of an orange flavor in there. That's really good with balsamic vinegar. Super easy to do, and then you can just buy the. You don't want to buy the expensive balsamic vinegar, just the the cheaper kind, and then you can make it at home, and it'll stay in the fridge, and it's cheaper than buying it from the squeeze bottle. And a lot of the stuff you buy sometimes isn't. It might have other stuff added. So if you do it yourself, it doesn't have. You can always put like a little bit of honey in there. So it's definitely not. There's no like preservatives or any added kind of stuff. It's just vinegar, and then whatever flavoring, if you put some flavor in there, is really good. Drizzled over salad or even as sauce for chicken. Balsamic. If we had balsamic reduction for this, it would be really good. Drizzled over the vegetables and the chicken at the end too. That would be really good. I do. Yeah, I guess I could get a thermometer, Stephanie. I'll just get used to it. Just turn it up. When at the hotels, we had the gas stoves, and we never actually, like in the kitchen, because you're opening them, closing them so much, because you're cooking if you're on the line and that kind of stuff. We actually just had them on high and just cooked, and then used our heads to time it and know what worked. with the gas ovens, and then we had the convection ovens, which were more accurate for temperature. But you could use oranges. Yeah, why not? You could slice some oranges and put it on top of the chicken. That'd be very good as well. If you didn't have apples, kind of the only reason I chose to do apples is I had one of those apples left, and figured I might as well use it up. Yeah, Susan, that does sound really good what you bought there. Mm-hmm. Made rice and lime. There you go. Everybody's trying new things. That's good. Did you use the zester, the zest of the lime at all, Susan, or just squeeze the juice? Because you could always cook it with a bit of the zest in there as well. Is always really good. Lemon too would be good in rice. You could do some chicken with lemon and grate the. I don't know if you have one of these yet, but if you get a zester, get one of these microplanes, because it does it. It's like super fine. It's like it makes the zest like a powder. I think we've done it before. Let me see. I could always I'll do one, and then I'll put it on the vegetables after. Show you how it works. I think we've used it a few times. So here, let me get the cutting board. Oh, hey, Forrest is watching on TV. So for the lemon, we'll put this on. You just have to go through. It's super fast. I don't know. Hopefully, you might not be able to see it that well. So, and it smells really good. It's really fast, and it smells. You can makes the house smell nice. So you get more out of your zest that way. There we go. I'll put that on the vegetables after. Melon baller demonstration. It's funny, I was looking the other day, having gotten back, having been a cook for so long, gathered so much stuff, but then stopped cooking for so long. I don't know where a lot of my stuff that I had used, I don't actually know where it is, or it's gone missing or broke. I don't know. But I did find, actually, Lois, where did it go? Oh, there it is. I do have a little mini melon baller. I guess it's not even a melon ball. So I have to look up. I was going to look up what the name of the vegetable. We used to have to do vegetables with this, and we'd have to do thousands. So we used to do carrots and zucchini with this little melon baller, and it would be like as a garnish for different soups or for different dishes. We'd have these little tiny vegetables. I don't even think I have a vegetable that I can do with this, but as you can see, it's pretty small. So I still have that. So I could do a demonstration, and we could have that as the demo, but they're very small, so not necessarily good for melons. We used to do them with, we'd make like there'd be consomme soup, which is consomme is like the clear soup, and then we'd have carrots, and we'd have to do different vegetables for it, and we'd have literally thousands. So I'll have to find. I have a bigger melon baller somewhere, the large size. We would use those as well too. Everybody's gotten to the groceries. That's good. Lots of fresh stuff. Can't get them round. Okay, we can do that. The thing was with melon ball. Well, we'll do a melon baller video. I'll get a melon baller once all this is over. some melon in the summer. We'll make a salad, and then we'll show you how to do it for sure. So this is the part where we just tidy up, and then everything is ready to go when it's cooked. But we've got 11 people watching today, so that's kind of neat. I don't know if anybody else is here that hasn't said hi, but welcome to the channel. We've done pretty good. We try and do live streams Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5 o'clock Mountain Time, and we try and do a dinner usually within 45 minutes, trying for sure under an hour for the live. So right now we're just over half an hour. So we're doing good for time. Everything's in the oven. And a lot of times, if this is your first time watching, I know Rachel, you might not have seen us live. So it's like quick cooking, easy cooking, but flavorful cooking. And with dishes that are very limited cleanup is kind of the goal. And also with the channel as well, that's why we're not seasoning with any salt and that kind of stuff. So all the recipes are going to be low sodium if this is your first time. Ideas for chicken wings. I know, Stephanie, you have an air fryer. Didn't you make chicken wings with that? Now I know, Lois, you do make a really good sticky chicken wing that you've cooked before, but that has a lot of soy sauce in it. So for the sodium, not the greatest thing. So if anybody has any ideas for chicken wings, let us know. Because chicken wings would be good. I haven't had those in a long time. So that would be a good dish to make. Good in the oven, quick and easy. Wings the sticky ones that you made, Lois, were really good. But yeah, you really need, I like the crispy ones too, with the different flavors. But everybody keeps talking about, Stephanie keeps talking about the air fryer. So I haven't air fried anything. We'll have to see how that works out. And someone shared the video of air fried carrots chips, but made with smoke, I think it was. Oh, hey, Forrest, he's there. Hey, don't forget to subscribe. It was like carrots with liquid smoke, and they were like kind of done like, I guess, air dried, and then kind of they called them like carrot bacon, I guess would be the best kind of taste with how they tried. So that was kind of an interesting video. So air fryer will open up a whole bunch of new ideas, I think. So maybe we'll get one of those eventually to try out. But chicken wings are good. Yeah, you can learn to cook more than hot dogs. That's the honey. This is the best honey. This was like, we've only had it for just over, like I've eaten a lot of honey because this is tasty. All right, let's take a look. See how this is looking. Oh yeah, it's coming. Chickens. I'd say it's just over halfway done. So it's looking good. What's wrong with hot dogs? I don't know. Is Stella watching today? She's the hot dog connoisseur. I don't know. Hot dogs aren't good for you, Mike. That's what's wrong, I think, with hot dogs. You should cook fresh food. We've got for next Wednesday, we'll do something. We've got some salad mix, so we'll do a fresh salad, something different because the weather's getting nicer. So we'll do definitely like start to get some lighter some lighter meals and stuff going. So we'll do a salad, I think, on a salad for Wednesday, maybe. Sure, Susan, what's your question? This lemon smells really good. Yeah, just let me know. Too much sodium. Yeah, that's right. For me too. So we're all on the same diet, Stephanie. And it's a good diet. It's, you know what? It's a really good diet because we're, just being more careful with what we eat. But I think the biggest thing with that is not having any pre-made stuff, like no prepackaged food, which I think is the biggest difference for us. That's made us feel better. Breakfast. Okay, good question, Susan. So breakfast today often has small glass fruit and fruit into little squares. Yeah, they would just. I mean, that's just. They would have manually somebody doing that. Just the sizes. So when you're cutting, like, how sometimes if you see a melon and it's sliced up, they would then take it again and slice it, do it again, and make it into the size that they need. So it's manual. There's no machine that would do for fruit. There's no machine that would do that. So it would just be people that would be cutting it up. And like some of these big resorts, I know from being in kitchens and stuff like that how it's laid out. There's different departments in a kitchen. So when you're in a professional, so it's not automated at all. When you're in a kitchen, like an industrial restaurant type of hotel kitchen, there's different stations and like basically sections of the kitchen. So there'll be one area where they're making their soups and stocks and sauces, where they have the big kettles to do everything. And then they'll have a section that's a butcher section. They'll have a section that's a salad section, a pastry section, big, large areas. So, for example, for somebody that was doing the fruits and the breakfast and stuff like that, there's probably, I know from like being in a hotel, if you're serving that many people, and if it's a big hotel, you're serving thousands of people, right? A couple thousand people for breakfast. Their only job would be first to come in early in the morning, would be to put all of the fruit out that they've cut up that morning to put onto the buffet. So they would probably usually fruit you can cut the day before. So they probably have cut a lot of those things the day before, but kept them separate, because they're not going to, because as soon as you start mixing fruit together, it's going to start to break down, right? Like if you have, say, for example, pineapple gets acidic and you mix it with a melon, it's going to start to break the fruits down. So they could cut it up and have it in separate containers, and then in the morning they'll fill up what they need for the day, and then that same person, after they're fill everything up, they'll chop more fruit and have it ready for the next day. So that's probably like someone in the breakfast like that, cutting the salad stuff or cutting the fruits up. That's probably all they do all day for 8 hours, 10 hours, however long they're in the kitchen for. So when I was at the hotel in Vancouver, we had people that would work in the cold room, the garde-manger, like the cold garde-manger, it's called, where we did the salads and the sandwiches, and we were in that room making salads and cutting vegetables or fruits all day. That's it. So long story for manual and lots of labor, not automated at all. There is companies like in Canada. I don't know about there must be in Mexico or different places for sure. But I would assume they probably would do more out of like in the Mexico, for example, than kitchens in like Canada, because like a lot of stuff in Canada you can get. You can get almost anything. So if you really wanted to order that fruit like that in, you could, but you would pay. There'd be a company that would do it. They would have people there cutting it, and then they package it and then send it off to you. So the odd time at hotels, we would have to get, just, it would depend how busy it was, but sometimes what would happen is we would have to get pre-sliced fruit, like melons for fruit platters, for buffets and banquets, because there were so many banquets happening. This would be, for example, during Christmas time, something like that. We just didn't have the staff to be able to cut it and put it onto platters. So we would have to get, every day we would get fresh cut up melons, and we would assemble it and then go out for the buffet, just because of sheer labor. There wasn't enough people working to be able to do everything. So long story, sorry. Every square, so every square, Susan, same, it's practice. So, and what they'll do is, if you're cutting, this is the thing, if you're cutting, you'll take the squares that will, like if you're cutting a fruit or a vegetable up and you need it a certain size, you will cut those certain sizes, and then the scraps you'll use for other things. So for example, they probably, like on the buffet, fruit for example, they'll cut up the nice squares out of the pieces of melon for the nice cups. They'll put those out, the trimmings and the bits. If you probably check the buffet, guaranteed you're going to see smoothies on the buffet where they blend them up, and they'll use those bits and pieces that aren't as, I mean, there's nothing wrong with them, they're just not square. They'll use those melons for the fresh juice, stuff like that. And it would be the same if you were cutting up square, perfectly square or shaped vegetables. You would get the perfect ones for what you need it for, and then the trimmings you would use for a stock, or you would use for a soup, perhaps, if it's blended, that kind of stuff. Same with if you're peeling potatoes. I mean, a lot of times you would get the pieces you need from potato. We'd peel it, but then we would turn them or get them to a shape that we wanted. We'd have extra potatoes left. We would use that for something else, for soup. And this is where kind of menus come in, and they would have it set up so you're not wasting the food, and they use it for something else. So hopefully that helps. And it's practice. So to get every square the same size, when you are cutting fruit and it's your profession and you do it all day and you've done it for a number of years, everything is going to look exactly the same. Just, it's practice. That's all it is. Yeah. It's really neat to see kitchens, for sure. When you see like a hotel industrial kitchen, it's like a machine, how things operate. And I've had the opportunity. Obviously, I worked in kitchens in Canada for 15, 20 years. But then also recently being able to go and see kitchens in some of the large resorts in Mexico. And it's amazing what they look at. And I know from seeing them and seeing so many different kitchens over my career in Canada, and then down in some of the resorts. Every resort kitchen I've been and seen and toured has been the cleanest kitchens I've ever seen in my life. It's amazing how spotless. You could literally eat off the floor at the kitchens I've seen in some of the resorts in Mexico. And it's neat to see. And pastry is definitely something to see if you have the chance to see a pastry chef doing chocolate. And that, I mean, that's a whole other art that it's amazing. We were in one of the resorts in Los Cabos, and we got to meet the pastry chef that was there and he made one of the wedding cakes for us to show as a demonstration. And it's amazing. It's like, I mean, one thing to bake them, the second is the decoration, and it's pretty amazing. So let's give this a look here. Hot. So it's getting there. It's actually almost ready. I'll try and show you in the camera, because you can probably see. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can see, because there's a bit of juice on the bottom under the apples. So it's giving the chicken some nice, keep it nice and moist, and it's almost ready. I'm just going to turn that over halfway. But these are almost like, if you look, these potatoes are basically done. The veggies are done. We're going to give them just a couple minutes because I'm going to stir up and get all the juice in the vegetables. So it probably needs just about 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, and then we'll be done. And we'll get it on a plate, so you can take a look. There we go. So before we put everything is basically ready. Going to take 5 more minutes till it's all plated. But again, thanks for everybody coming into our kitchen, and getting some instruction on how to make dinner. Hopefully you'll try some of these recipes in the future, easy recipes to try. So if you do try one out, by all means, send me a message on Facebook or come back to the video on YouTube and leave a comment how you liked it. It's always kind of fun to hear, because you can't smell it or taste it when we start eating. It's always good if you come back after and just let me know how it turned out for you, and what you enjoyed. Maybe something if you tried it and didn't like it, let me know as well. Or if you maybe changed the recipe a little bit, tried the bit of the recipe, but then adjusted something on it, let me know. Because this as well would be great if you had some pork as well on there. If you like pork instead, it's up to you, but it gives you a good base and a good idea. Oh, Susan, yeah. So if you try it, let me know. Just leave a comment. So we are almost ready. I'm gonna cut up the chicken when I put it on the plate, just because we've got 2 breasts there, and one's gonna be left over. So I'm gonna cut up one, and we'll split it up between the 2 of us. Yeah, this one was definitely easy ingredients. I think most people probably have most of this to be able to make. If you don't have say for example the little yellow potatoes, you could also use the big potatoes, and then cut them into the right size pieces, right? There is garlic in there. Maybe you missed that part, Stephanie. I mean, it's not roasted, but I chopped it up fairly large, so it is in there as well. But roasted garlic would be good to put on there as well. If you did that separately, yes, that would be really good. Roasted garlic's good on almost anything, isn't it? So I'll get my other cutting board ready. So thanks for coming again. I think everybody's subscribed. If you're not, make sure you do subscribe. It's always nice when it helps out the channel. I do appreciate that. And also too, if everybody's kind of watching, if you could also hit that the like button to let me know when you like the video. It kind of helps YouTube show it to other people that might find it enjoyable as well. And also too, I appreciate everybody that has shared. I know I post the link to the live stream ahead of time, and I do it on my Facebook. So I appreciate everybody that shared it to all their friends on their Facebook as well. The link, it always helps out. It's great. Hopefully some of them will eventually join in, or I know some people don't know how necessarily to comment on YouTube, but you do need it works best, I find, if you're going to be commenting, is if you have a TV, you can put it on the TV, but then also watch it on your phone as well, because on the phone you can add if you're logged in and subscribed, you can add live comments. So if your friends come on, you can have a chat, that kind of stuff. And that's basically ready. Okay. Don't unsubscribe to resubscribe. It's too funny. So mean. I've got 728 subscribers right now. So that's kind of neat. When I started this channel, I never thought I would have any, well, let alone other than just a few people, but it's kind of neat to see. It's always kind of neat when new people pop in. So I know, Rachel, it's your first time, and Forrest as well. So thanks. We'll be back on Wednesday to do another one. And once I get a bit more organized, we'll work on the camera. I'm going to work on the camera angle so you can see and see what I'm cutting board. And once I invest them, I have to do some investment into the stream, and then we'll do that and make it a bit more exciting, so you can kind of see what I'm chopping, and a bit closer on me when I'm talking, and they don't have to keep moving the camera around. It makes it a bit easier for you, and be able to see if I'm doing something on my stove, so you can kind of see the pot. So we can do a bit more stuff like that with with some more interaction when you can actually see it a bit better. Okay, there we go. So this is ready. I'm going to turn the camera down so you can see when it comes out of the oven. So you can kind of see what it's going to look like. All right, so there we go. Looks pretty good. Steamy goodness. Turn that off. So the chicken is ready. We've got the apples there. Looks pretty good. So what I'm gonna do, we do need a bit more room, but let's here, get the chicken, put one there. And I'll just move this over. Because what I'm gonna do, get it on a plate for you. We'll do mishmashed plates today. No rice, potato, Stephanie. No rice. So we've got potato. Now, if you had more, this will be enough for probably 2 of us, and then some leftovers. So if you did have more people, you could have just do a couple trays. Just kind of split it up like that. White plates, I know. I have some. I just didn't grab. So we'll do the vegetables. This one's half. You can see this one better. Half white. It's just a matter of mixing it. Everything's kind of mixed together, so it's pretty easy. Okay. Oh, we were going to put honey on this too, weren't we? We forgot. That's okay. Here. I've got some of this honey. So I'm going to put some honey on because we said apple and honey, didn't we, Susan? Just put a little bit. So that's good. And because we're going to share this, we're just going to cut it in pieces for us. Some chicken. A little bit there. And with the apples, there's some apples on the, if you go back to the pan, you want to get the apples from underneath, and we'll put a few on top of the chicken so we can all have some. And then you can also just use some of the juice that's from the apple, and a little bit of oil, and then there's some honey in there now as well. We'll put the drippings on top. So there we go. There we go. One pan, roasted chicken with Brussels sprouts, roasted potatoes, carrots, and some butternut squash with apple. So that looks pretty good. Smells good. People were asking if I should taste it before we go. So I am going to try some. See how it tastes, and I'll let you know. Eat in front of everybody. Potatoes are good. And the chicken. Tasty. So hopefully everybody tries it at least once. Let me know how it goes. My mouth is full eating. So thanks for joining me. We'll let it go. Next live stream is going to be on Wednesday. I don't know what I'm going to cook yet. So if you do have suggestions, leave it in the comments. and give me some ideas. If I have some of the ingredients, I'll try and do it for Wednesday. Other than that, have a great rest of your Monday night. Thanks again for joining me, everybody. And don't forget, if everybody could also share this with one person that they think would find it useful. It always would help me out. So I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Have a good night. And then don't forget, wash your hands. Bye.